I see a bit more of the tattoo has been filled in.
Yeah, and it fucking hurts, but let's talk about Doom. Doom is a video game franchise that has long established the amount of shits it gives could be counted on one hand by a kid who likes to play with fireworks. True to its roots, the 2016 reboot of the series is unabashedly metal as fuck, with a soundtrack that hits the ears like a dump truck full of Fury Road DVDs. It's also full of demonic imagery.
So we're talking like voice to the background or backmasking or that kind of shit?
No, none of that pussy shit they used to do in the 80s. I mean, if you look at Doom's soundtrack on a spectergram, demonic imagery will flicker up on your screen occasionally, like you're using a haunted version of Windows Media Player.
I'm pretty sure there's some people who won't have used Windows Media Player here.
And those people are living sad lives. Because Windows Media Player was the shit. Do you remember? You used to be able to put on, what is it, the visualizer.
Oh,
whatever
God.
song you were listening to, and interact with it. And I used to like putting on the one that was like all psychedelic and just listening to like my favourite Dragon Force song because it just got ape shit.
You just want, I like the ones where the song starts off slow and then picks up because it starts off like a low flicker.
But I used to like doing that and put it in the background and just having the screen on. It's like super awesome. Like they need more stuff like that. I guess you can get it for a modern computer, but I miss when it was just like a default feature. You put a CD in and the first thing that pops up is the Windows Media Player with the skin you picked. And I always pick the guy with the brain. And he's doing this and you're like, the music's inside his brain. I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. So 90s. And then Clippy pops up and you go, Clippy, go away. Fuck off, Clippy. No.
Oh man, did you ever use any of the other ones that weren't Clippy?
I didn't know you could do that.
You could right click and change them to different ones.
Could you?
I think there was a globe, there was a piece of paper like a notepad.
Mate, I'm not
there was a dog.
You just blow my fucking mind. It's like when I found out you can get rid of Clippy, you could turn him off.
You didn't know you could turn him off?
Yeah, but I was a kid when I used computers with that shit. So I didn't have much computer literacy back then. I don't now. But fucking hell.
Just imagining you just sat there staring at Clippy, just like, why will you never leave me alone?
There's all those jokes, isn't there? It's like, oh, it looks like you're composing a suicide note. Would you like some help? It's like, fuck off, Clippy. Like, Clippy's dead now, but props to Microsoft for bringing him back in the form of Cortana, which is the helper assistant for like Windows 10, and it's the most annoying shit ever. And you have to go into your root directory to disable it, to actually get back the search bar so you can search your own fucking files. I liked the idea of Cortana because in America they actually got Jen Hale to voice it. So the voice of Cortana in Halo, and I think an early working name for the new Internet Explorer was Spartan. I'm like, I know that it's nerdy and that it's just them using good marketing, but I would use like Windows Edge if it was called Windows Spartan and Cortana was voiced by Jennifer Hale, but she's not in Europe. So you know what? I disable that shit straight away. But I would still use it if I could go onto my phone and go, Cortana? She'd go, yes, Master Chief. Yeah.
You'd make her call you Master Chief.
I would fucking make her call him. It reminds me a lot. When I worked in a bar, this guy I used to work with was a proper stoner, and he had his Siri call him Spliff Master. And when he was giving our phone number to our boss, so he could contact him for shifts and stuff, the phone just came, he went, oh, has he got Siri? Oh, let me try this. He goes, what's my phone number? And then he was going to take it down. He went, hello, Spliff Master, your phone number is this. And the boss handed him the phone back and went, here you go, Spliff Master. Just the idea of getting your Siri to call you fucking Spliff Master. It's the fucking best. Oh yeah, they need to bring that. I want that on everything. It's like the Alexa. When you ask Alexa, do you know Cortana? And she says only by reputation.
I had my first contact with Alexa over New Year's. And we said to her, do you like Cortana? No, it wasn't Cortana. It was
Do you like Siri?
Do you like Siri? And she said, I like all other AIs. I was like, no, you fucking don't.
No, you're lying.
I asked Alexa, I think I said to Alexa, Alexa, do you like me? And she went, I don't understand the question. I was like, Jesus,
The one
Alexa.
that I like is, Alexa, tell Amazon Marketing Research to go fuck themselves. It's like, I don't understand the question. It's like, yes, you do. They're listening to me. They know how much I've asked you to play Africa this last few days. Stop it.
So who was it that composed the music for the 2016 Doom?
That was one Mick Gordon, a legendary large-penised hero who composes music for a lot of video games. And he was tasked with basically like, you've got to take all the music from the original Doom and make it better. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to pay homage to those original games, but make them heavier and more visceral. And I think he did a fucking fantastic job. The best example you see of that is like the iconic theme to the first level of the first Doom, Ep1 M1, and like that iconic riff that Brad's going to play now. And there's a great interview with Mick Gordon for a documentary about Doom, where he goes, yeah, that Bobby Prince soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. It's one of the most iconic themes in all of gaming. I'm not going to be able to improve upon that, but I can update it. And it shows you him going through, like, you know, the evolution of how the song became Rip and Tear in Doom 2016. It's fucking brilliant.
Rip and Tear, that's the name of the song?
Yes. Yes, it is. And I love that. I think it's a reference to one of the Doom novels, but I love how it's introduced in the game itself, because the very first mission, you get the shotgun, and they make it so that the first proper mission you go on after you've got your shotgun, you've got all your armour, that song starts to play, but the music starts the moment you cock your shotgun. So Doom guy cocks his shot. It's the only time in the game he cocks that fucking shotgun, but Rip and Tear starts playing really softly in the background. And the way music works in Doom, it's contextual. So the more intense a fight is, the more intense the music becomes. And when you're just wandering around collecting secrets, it's quieter, but it's there. And Mick Gordon does that a lot with his music, and it's Killer Instinct. He put a lot of, like, you know, musical motifs in that. And my favourite one is that the character TJ Combo, when he gets, like, knocked down, his soundtrack will always play when he gets back up. A little, like, you know, bell, like you get in a boxing ring, because he's a boxer. And he does little things like, as you scroll through the menu, as you scroll through it, it plays a different note from the Killer Instinct theme. So it's like dun 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 dun. It's like little things like that is why that guy is a pro. And right now, you're going to show people how much of a pro he is by putting that clip of him playing Rip and Tear live at the Game Awards, because that was brilliant. Because he basically says, oh yeah, we've got a live performance by Mick Gordon, and it's the heaviest thing you've ever seen. And there's all these tech journalists with beards and glasses and notepads, and then Mick Gordon just headbanging with a 7-string guitar, just like Rip and Tear, just thrashing his little heart out. I was like, you go! He's like the Doof Warrior. I love it. He's just so excited to be playing guitar. And like, you need someone with that passion making a game like this. That's what Doom 2016 was, a passion project by people who care about the original, and they wanted to, like, you know, pay as much homage to it as possible. As an aside, because I'm not sure how many people know this, that original Bobby Prince soundtrack borrowed a lot of riffs from popular heavy metal tracks, and I think Ep1 M1 is the most blatant, because that's very obviously, you know, the opening to Master of Puppets. And I love how they got away with doing that, because obviously it was the 90s and it was a video game, and no one gave a shit about video game soundtracks back then. But I think if you released, because you could put in a comparison for, like, people at home now, so they can see, like, you know, how heavily it is inspired by Master of Puppets. I think if you release Doom today with an updated version of that soundtrack, that isn't, like, you know, as heavily changed as Mick Gordon did, Metallica will be having words with their lawyer, because they don't have the best reputation for, like, you know, people using their intellectual property, do they? They sued, like, what was it, Napster. And I think during that lawsuit, they sued a load of universities because people were using university servers to download their albums. And they thought, do you know what's great optics? For, like, you know, us as a band who's, like, you know, mainly followed by, you know, young people. Let's sue a bunch of colleges across the United States because we're not getting enough money. Oh, I will give big props to, I think it's Lars Ulrich. Yeah. Because there's an interview with him when they asked him, so have you ever illegally downloaded a song? He went, yeah, I downloaded Death Magnetic from Pirate Bay. So I thought, fuck it, if anyone deserves to download that album for free, it's me. Because he's fucking on it. It's like, you know what? Fair play. Oh, Metallica, never stop releasing shit albums that people have to improve. Did you hear about this?
I don't think so.
So, okay, here's a fun bonus fact for people. Death Magnetic, the studio version of that album, is worse objectively than the Guitar Hero version, because the audio mixing on the studio version was so bad. And the Guitar Hero sound engineers, because they actually give a shit, took all of that stuff out. So people were illegally downloading the Guitar Hero version because it's an objectively better version of that album, and Metallica got super pissed about it. So, well, don't mix your album shit. Oh, God. Release Saint Anger again. Those drums are fantastic. Are you aware of that as well?
I'm not, no.
Oh, right. If you're, like, a Metallica fan, Saint Anger is, like, really, it's, like, infamous as being so shit. And the drums in it are terrible and obnoxious. And someone remixed a couple of songs years ago. Oh, here's Master of Puppets with the Saint Anger drums. And it sounds awful. Getting back to the Doom soundtrack, once again, Mick Gordon additionally used every piece of technology he could get his hands on to make the soundtrack sound as meaty as possible.
What technology did he use?
Well, the most simple one is the guitars, and he reportedly used 7, 8 and 9 string guitars to make the riffs sound as chugging and heavy as possible, and then he'd filter the music through like, you know, a bunch of musical devices to make it sound more distorted. And I think as well, there's a rumour that he used a chainsaw. I think he did, yeah. I hope I'm remembering that correctly. He did use a chainsaw for one of the songs. There's just a chainsaw in the background. He's like, yeah, fuck it, it's a chainsaw, it's awesome.
What's your favourite custom guitar?
As in one that's used in a movie or one that's used by a musician?
I just mean one that's like not an ordinary 6-string guitar.
I'd say it's got to be the guitar used by Buckethead, which I don't know the exact make, but I know he's got something built into it called a kill switch, which basically does exactly what it sounds like. It just cuts off all sound from the guitar when the button is pressed, and that's how he plays Jordan from Guitar Hero 2. Like, you know, the weird way, it's like the staccato-esque riff that he plays for, like, you know, the majority of the song. Yeah. That's how he does that. He has this little kill switch built into his guitar. And I think that's also like this little stupid device that he uses so well when playing it.
I think my favourite one has to be during the song Master Exploder in Pick of Destiny. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 custom guitars in that. One of them's got 3 necks.
Yes.
KG's got 6 arms. He's playing that. But the best one, it's a 2-neck guitar, but it's shaped like a woman's legs. And he plays it like this whilst licking the middle of it.
That is... If you just described that guitar and then asked me what band plays it, I'd have said Tenacious D. If we're going to talk about stupidly shaped guitars, we have to at least mention Prince's Love Symbol guitar. Just how the fuck did he play that thing? I think that's the one he played when he was doing Purple Rain at that halftime show that one year. So have you ever heard the story about that?
I haven't, no.
No, it's one year Prince played the halftime show at the Super Bowl, and it started pissing it down with rain. Like, it's absolutely bouncing it down. And they call up Prince and say, Prince, we're really sorry, it's raining. Is that going to ruin like what you had planned? And he went, can you make it rain harder? Because he said he liked the idea of it raining during his performance. And he brought on dancers wearing 6-inch heels, dancing on an acrylic surface that was wet, and they didn't fall over. Because that's how fucking talented Prince's dancers were. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to put a clip in, because obviously it's the NFL and Prince, both of whom are very, very strict when it comes to, like, you know, copyright and shit and people using clips of their stuff. But I hope we can put a clip of that in, because it's fucking awesome. So it was Prince who did a cover of Creep at Coachella, I think it was, and someone uploaded a video of it. And Prince had it taken down. I think Radiohead heard about it and went, well, tell it to put it back up, it's our fucking song, which I think is a good one.
So you said that Mick Gordon used a lot of technology to make the soundtrack. Yes,
and he had a lot of fun with it, apparently, by putting in a few Easter eggs, which the Doom series is famous for. My favourite one in Doom 2016 being that you get a brief rundown of all the people who've been killed by, like, you know, the demons escaping and killing everybody. And on that list of names, obviously it's like people who developed the game, people who worked on it, just Sean Bean's in there. Sean Bean died in Doom 2016. He's not even... I love that. And I want that to become a meme. I want that to be a thing where in any series where a load of people die, just Sean Bean's name's just listed somewhere. So he just dies in that universe too. But music-wise, he used the technology to basically just put in a load of like demonic imagery, like I mentioned, like pentagrams and shit, just in the soundtrack. And then what he did is he went into the inaudible frequencies of the songs and just put in a load of demonic shit. Like the full extent of which we've apparently not discovered yet, because he won't tell anyone what it is.
I'm assuming some people actually don't know what spectrograms are.
Oh, well, my understanding of them is it just lets you see the waveform of a song, and Gordon saw to it that if you listen to the Doom soundtrack with one of those, you just see a load of demonic stuff pop up, like 666, pentagrams, the Doom symbol, and he hid those in the inaudible frequencies of the songs, so obviously you can't hear them, but they're there, and I fucking love that idea, because the Doom video game series is infamous, because the first one, like, parents groups decried it. Oh yeah, it's full of demon imagery, it's like satanic in nature, it's got all this heavy metal in it, or heavy metal inspired music, or it's really bad for kids. And then you fast forward to 2016 and they're literally beaming demonic imagery and pentagrams directly into your brain as a joke. It's like, go Mick Gordon, that's awesome. Oh, how far we've come since the 90s, eh folks?
There's something we've forgotten to mention, Karl.
There is, isn't there?
There is.
And that is Polygon, when they tried to play Doom, and the guy who played Doom sucked at playing Doom. Yeah. Something me and Brad have laughed about multiple times over the past couple of
I think
years.
it's come up in several videos.
Yeah,
I put clips in once.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about it in full.
Because we find it so funny. So if people don't know what we're talking about, prior to the release of Doom 2016, id Software or Bethesda, I forget which one it is, who was able to hand out review copies, gave out a review copy to Polygon, you know, the online video game review site. And the guy they got to play it was so bad that they had to, like, you know, take off comments and the like and dislike bar on the video because everyone was just dunking on him for how shit the guy was.
It's like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's 30, and the thing is though, they put it as, this is Doom. This is what Doom 2016 is. And it's a guy playing who looks as if he's not even comfortable holding a video game controller because he can't walk and aim at the same time. And it just cracks me up that they thought that was acceptable level of quality to showcase for this fucking awesome game, and that nobody at id or Bethesda went, hang on, that makes Doom look like a bag of wank. I don't get how someone who is paid to play video games for a living can be so bad at playing video games. Like, I play video games for fun. And I say, I'm not going to beast through like Doom on the hardest difficulty, but I bet I could put on more of a showcase. And the guy's like, It's like one of those videos people did about video games in real life, and it shows people like glitching through furniture and stuff. It's like you've just got no control or agency over your own body.
It reminds me of if you're going to give the controller to someone who's never, like a parent.
Yeah, who's not familiar with video games as a concept, because they can't, in their head, work out that you can move and aim at the same time, because that's the number one hurdle a lot of people have when they first learn, like, to start playing first-person shooters. And I don't get how someone who plays video games, reviews them, is paid to play them, and gets their hands on Doom, a game that is like hotly anticipated, and one of the few people on Earth who's been given the privilege of playing it early, and they go and they don't know what they're doing.
The only thing I can assume is that the person who played it was like the person who was supposed to play it wasn't there. Like, they must have got in someone. But I don't get how
in all the staff and the editors, and someone must have edited the video together. Someone must have looked at it to make sure it was suitable for publication. None of them went, "This looks shit. Redo it."
Get someone else to play it.
And I know there's a huge debate out there, when it comes to reviewing video games. Should the person reviewing video games be able to play them? And the people compare it to films, or reviewing paintings or books. Like, do you have to be an author to review a book? And I think those comparisons aren't valid, because video games are an active medium, whereas films are more passive. You don't need to have made a film to review a film. You just have to have a base level of film literacy. You need to have basic, I don't know.
Well, I think that there's a difference between making a review and making a good review.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to trust somebody reviewing a book if they know how how structures of stories work.
Yes.
So someone playing a video game, fair enough, someone who can play it who's never played it, but I'm not going to trust their opinion as much as someone who knows how to play the game.
Is it now Conan O'Brien, the Clueless Gamer? Yeah. There is a market for that sort of content, but I love the idea. And obviously, I'm not saying if you can't play video games, you can't review them, because obviously that viewpoint matters, and there are people out there who that will apply to. It cracks me up that people who do it for a living are still so shit at it. That's what makes me laugh. How at that point, in 2016, if you've been immersed in video game culture for that long, have you not played at least one game of Call of Duty? How have you not played at least in Halo on Novice?
Yeah.
Or some shit like that, and at least know how to move and aim at the same. And if you don't, why do they not just give it to someone who can? Surely in their offices there's someone who knows how to play fucking Doom.
I love the bits where the person walks forwards and they turn to shoot something and then shoot 3 foot to the right and then reposition and have another shot.
It makes Doom Guy look like an idiot. That's what cracks me up. But
it makes Doom Guy just look really forgetful.
I love all stuff like that. And the famous one was the guy who couldn't play Cuphead.
Yeah.
And you can put the clip in where even though it says on screen, this is what you're supposed, and you can't figure it out.
Is that the jump and dash one?
Yeah,
so we mentioned that when we mentioned Doom
can't
Guy.
figure out how to jump and dash. And I love stuff like that, because you just think to yourself, you've been doing this for 30 fucking years. Surely you've picked up an Xbox controller at one point in your life reviewing technology. Sure, and if you don't, why would you play it?
There's got to be.
Why would you upload it? That's what gets me.
That's what I was going to say. There must be someone in the process who's going to look at it and go, he spent 5 minutes trying to get over a wall.
It makes the game look bad.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how a company who's allowing someone to review it would let that footage out. It's we want this to be shown in the best possible light, and you can't get through the fucking tutorial, that's not the image of our product we want out there.
It just reminds me of like the first time I ever played a game. Like, I have a recording of my first ever game of Fortnite. And what happens is, I get confused, I'm in a bus, I land on the floor, I swing the pickaxe for 5 seconds and get shot. If I uploaded that as a demonstration of the game...
That's funny though, isn't it? But like, you still have like that base level of like hand-eye coordination to control the character if you're not familiar with the mechanics of the game and the way it works. It's just, I don't understand why a company would allow that footage out and then upload it to YouTube and then say, yeah, come watch this, guys, this is Doom.
You know what it could have been though? What if it was intentional?
Thing is though, it's too bad to be intentional.
But what if they watched it and went, the game clearly looks good, but the person playing it is bad, this will get a lot of attention?
I'm more side on the fact the guy was just shit at playing video games. And do you have any, like, you know, before we go, favourite examples where that's happened before?
I think something I really enjoyed doing was, like, because me and you both big Crash Bandicoot nerds.
Yes.
Watching people play
High Road.
Insanity.
Is it High Road?
And it was any level. Watching people play the Insanity trilogy and getting really, really mad because I know I could do that.
Yeah. The one that cracked me up was, I think they released Pokemon Red on the Wii U or the Nintendo Virtual Console. And there was a lot of kids going, how do I beat Brock? I've got a Charmander and my Charmander doesn't know any moves to beat Brock. How do I beat Brock? How do I get past this tree? Because obviously the game doesn't tell you what to do. It's expected that you'll explore and learn on your own. And I love the idea that video games now, like, they handhold you so much. If you go back to those older ones where they don't, they expect you to learn it on your own. People like literally just don't know what they're doing.
I remember like the way that World of Warcraft would gradually evolve from game that takes a bit of effort to now game where it hands you everything.
Yeah, it tells you what you're doing.
The only thing that's difficult is the really high level raids.
The one that the famous one of those is the person who uploaded to Miiverse on the Wii U. Why can't Metroid crawl? And it's because they're just facing a little gap, and it's like Samus not being able to crouch because they haven't got the morph ball yet. Why can't Metroid crawl?
I remember going back to Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, and obviously I'd been playing through Phantom Pain, where you can crouch and then lie down, but obviously in the originals you just go straight to prone. And I got murdered by the first guard I met because I tried to crouch behind a rock and just kept going like this up, and it's like that bit with Darrow.
Greatest soldier who ever lived right there.
It's that bit with Darrow O'Brien when he's doing Solid Snake walking around the battlefield, but that was me in real life.
Oh man, it's I just love the idea that there are people out there who are paid to play video games for a living and they can't play video games. Can you imagine that in any other industry? Like a food critic who's getting well done steak with ketchup on it and complaining that you don't get chips on the side of everything.
Salt.
Yeah, who complains that you don't get chips on the side like a Japanese sushi restaurant or some shit. Like hiring those people who go to Benidorm and just eat like a fried breakfast every single day. And get them to go review like a fancy London restaurant, go to the Fat Duck or some shit.
I never understood the people who go to foreign countries and don't eat the food there. It's like, what's one of the main things that I enjoy when I go to another place is different kinds of food.
But can you translate that idea of you review these things for a living and you don't know how they work? Like any other industry, you'd be fired immediately. Like even if it's like the creative or the review industry, you would not succeed, but you can do really fucking well not being able to understand the base mechanics of a video game, something you've spent your entire adult life apparently playing. Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. Never change.